and US Fed had no choice but to increase interest rates. They froze all the US treasuries held by Russia. With half the earth in war mode, gold should continue doing well. Silver went up 400% while gold was up 300%. Where will all this silver come from? Hi everyone, welcome to Investing with the Masterminds. Everyone who missed the rally in gold is now looking towards silver. It's not just you, some of the world's biggest and smartest investors are also turning bullish. Historically, if you track the data since 1963, gold and silver prices usually move together. While there is no doubt that the rally in gold will continue for the next multiple months, the belief that silver will outperform gold in the later part of the cycle, I believe that should start playing out soon. So today, I'll break down what's driving this rally in gold and why silver should outperform gold going forward. I'm breaking this video in 4 parts. First, the massive US debt trap. And then second, why US dollar is losing its value. Third, previous cycles where silver has massively outperformed gold. And lastly, why should silver start rising now? Let's start with the massive US debt trap. For this, we'll break down what happened with the US economy over the last 2 decades. Let's start with 2008. The US faced a huge recession, which was because of the housing bubble and Lehman Brothers falling. People were confused and worried about how the economy would survive. Then, the US government played a masterstroke by reducing interest rates to 0%. This pumped out a lot of money into the ecosystem, saved banks, and encouraged companies to invest more. The idea was, once things get better, we'll slowly increase the interest rates again. After 8 years in 2016, things improved, so the US began rising interest rates. But as soon as they did, the S&P fell 10%. No government wanted to take this responsibility for this economic slowdown, so they stopped raising interest rates. Move forward 4 years, after that came COVID in 2020. And once again, interest rates were cut to 0%. The government took massive debt to keep the economy afloat. Trillions of dollars were spent on stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, and business bailouts, flooding the market with easy money and pushing up the government debt to record levels. Now, this cycle of easy money could not go on forever. In 2021, inflation started rising fast, and US Fed had no choice but to increase interest rates. Fed increased interest rates 11 times in 2022 from 0% to 4.5%. This sudden stop of cheap money caused trouble for over-leveraged banks like Silicon Valley Bank, which had to shut down. Now in 2025, all the debt that US has taken is piling up. Today, just the interest payments on this debt is almost 30% of country's GDP. From all this, we can conclude that clearly things aren't as rosy for the US anymore. But the problem doesn't stop here. Until now, the US managed its huge interest payments by selling government bonds to countries like China, Japan, and Russia. China alone held around $1.2 trillion worth of US treasuries and was one of the biggest buyers. But as the US economy started looking shaky, China began selling its US bonds and started buying gold instead. Japan and many smaller European countries soon followed, swapping out US bonds for gold in their reserves. Then came the Russia-Ukraine war. The US made a move that shocked everyone. They froze all the US treasuries held by Russia. This sent a clear message. The US dollar isn't as global or as safe as everyone thought. Because of this, central banks everywhere started buying gold in huge amounts to protect their reserves for the future. These triggers are not yet over. With half the earth in war mode, gold should continue doing well. Now, I'll address the burning question. Where's the smart money moving? Most people feel like they've missed the bus with gold, but you're actually not too late. Silver hasn't even participated in this rally yet. If you look at the data from the last several decades, silver has always outperformed gold in every big rally, especially towards the end. For example, from 2001 to 2008, silver went up 400% while gold was up 300%. And between 2007 to 2012, silver jumped 440% while gold was up only 170%. But this time, the story is a bit different. I believe silver is much better positioned now than it has ever been in the past. Silver demand is rising much faster than gold, especially because of its industrial uses. In the last few years, industries like solar panels and electronics have started using a lot more silver. If you check the data, industrial demand for silver has shot up from 490 million ounces to 680 million ounces. While when you check the supply, it hasn't even increased over the last decade. Earlier growing industrial demand for silver was balanced out by falling demand in other areas like photography and bullion. But now, silver's total demand is expected to grow by 50% in the next 5 years. The big question is, where will all this silver come from? Increasing silver supply isn't easy. It takes many years to ramp up production. This gap between growing demand and slow supply can cause a squeeze in the market. And when that happens, we all know prices can shoot up in a non-linear, explosive way. So to sum it up, while gold has already made big moves, silver's real story might just be getting started. With demand rising fast and supply not keeping up, the next few years could be very interesting for silver investors. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.